the Rockin' Man Studios. This is the Matthew Hendrix Podcast Show. And now here's your host, known as the Rockin' Man, Matthew Hendrix.
It is local, it is live all across the globe. It is the Matthew Hendrix Podcast Show. I'm Matthew, known as the Rockin' Man, and welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. So, how's everybody doing? Did your football team win over the weekend? Did you have a good week? I hope everybody is doing well. Again, welcome back to the podcast show. And in today's episode, we're going to be telling you about a man who was trapped inside of an ATM machine in New York. We're going to also be talking about a woman arrested after a police chase in Melbourne, Australia. And finally, we'll have, as always, Matthew's joke of the day. So let's get down to business. About a man trapped inside of an ATM machine. Here we go. And it goes like this. If you're a person who existed in 2017, you probably heard about a story about a man named James Portillo. That's right. James found himself trapped in an ATM in New York. Out of Texas. He was freed after passing notes through the receipt slot. And the whole incident became one of the most viral stories on earth. In a news cycle that included the president's son committing some light treason in new North Korean missile test, the simple tale of a man in an ATM somehow captured the world's attention. There's basically no news outlet that didn't cover it, including the New York Times, the Washington Post, and NPR. But covering the story doesn't actually mean getting the details right. Cracked reached out to James about his brush with infamy, and he even pointed out that the New York Times didn't quite get his story right. For one thing, he was not trapped in the ATM, as the article, man trapped inside in the ATM, get this, for 3 hours. 3 whole hours until he's rescued by the police. There's a misconception everybody has that he was stuck in the machine, but it was a room. There's a room that goes into where the ATM was held, so that's where James was stuck. So he wasn't at the ATM. I wasn't at the ATM myself, but it was pretty tight. Can you believe it? Stuck in an ATM machine for 3 whole hours until you got help? That is unreal. It's unreal, but kind of crazy. Now going on to the next subject, about a woman in Melbourne, Australia, that was arrested after a police chase. A woman has been arrested after she allegedly broke into a home, stole a resident's car, and led police on a relatively low-speed chase. Police said that the 26-year-old entered a property on Stonebridge Lane and Pakenham about 8 a.m. on a Monday in Australia, right there in Melbourne. She stole the keys and fled in a resident's car, sparking a chase that ended about an hour later when police deployed road spikes. Of course, you know, here in America, that's called the spike strips. It was a relatively low-speed pursuit, but she certainly had no intention of stopping. Assistant Commissioner Doug Fryer told reports. Like many drivers who flee from the police, the woman might have thought officers wouldn't bother following her, the senior officer said, of the AAP. And can you believe it? That's really stupid. I mean, the woman fleeing from the police, that's one thing, but stealing from someone's car and after broken into a home, I mean, come on. You know, get a grip of yourself, lady. Because let me tell you, I've done some dumb stuff in my time, but I would never break into anyone's house. And furthermore, I would never flee from police. If they tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. Of course, whether they like me or not. But I will do that. And hey, did you hear about Todd Newton's podcast? Of course, it's The Talk is Cheap. I recommend you all listening to it. And of course, you can find him on Buzzsprout. You can find him on Spreaker. You could even find him, believe it or not, you can find him over on Apple iTunes, if you all are interested. Of course, he's known as the host with the most, and his website is toddnewtononline.com. That's TODDNEWTON.com. And I would recommend you listen to his podcast. It's really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. And, speaking of a podcast, as you all know, I got a podcast website myself. And, of course, it's through Messy.fm. That's Messy.fm. MESSY.FM. And believe it or not, I got a few podcasts if you want to listen to it. Now, of course, I will give you the link to my podcast. If I can find it here just a second. Okay, here it is. It is messy.fm/profile/mhendrix1. That is MESSY.profile/mhendrix and the number 1. So make sure you all go head over there, listen to my podcast, and see what you think of it. And just let me know more about it later. And I hope you all will enjoy it. And finally, on today's episode of the podcast, of course, we got Matthew's Joke of the Day. And I found this online through a Google research, and I think you all will pretty much laugh at this one. Here we go. A ham sandwich walks into a bar and orders a beer. The bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve food here." Can you believe it? If you were a ham sandwich and you walk in a bar and order a beer, the bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve food here." That's a funny good story. Well, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. And, of course, if you hear it here on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or, of course, here on YouTube or Facebook, make sure you give it a like or a heart, whichever you like. Of course, if you're on Facebook, give it a like on YouTube, give it a tweet on Twitter. And I hope you all will tune in to the next podcast coming soon. This is Matthew the Rockin' Man signing out. Wishing you a good one. And we'll talk to you later next time, my friends. Keep on and rockin'. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
To connect with Matthew, and if you would like to be his friend, please like his Facebook fan page at facebook.com/Matthew Hendrix Game Show Host 1. You can also follow Matthew on Twitter at twitter.com/mhendrix1982. Follow him on Instagram at instagram.com/rockinman1. Be a loyal subscriber to his YouTube channel at youtube.com/Matthew Hendrix Rockinman1. The Matthew Hendrix Podcast Show is a Rockin' Man production.
This has been a Matthew Hendrix production. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep on rocking.